once more, my patronites, to another video. So you know, it's past the holiday season, it's in the new year now. I don't know, but I think a lot of people, after this Oliver cooking and baking, after the Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, we tend to want to eat light, you know, little breads, little light little stuff with tea and juice and all of that. So today I'm going to show you how to make a cinnamon cranberry bread. Right? So for this recipe, you're going to need all-purpose flour, you're going to need salt, you're going to need a stick of butter, you're going to need cranberries, milk, cinnamon, of course. Remember I said cinnamon cranberry. We're going to use a little G sugar and yeast, of course, and of course we're going to use some brown sugar. Now the first thing you want to do is make some buttermilk. If you have your already buttermilk, store-bought, but I am going to be making some homemade buttermilk, and this is how we make it. You're going to have a saucepan, get your heat on up to a little bit over medium, and to this I'm going to melt 1 stick of butter, or probably about a 1/4 cup of butter if you don't have the stick ones. So let us get that on the melting, not too high. You're gonna get it like, you know, let it stay there and melt on its own. So whilst you're preparing, melting your butter to prepare for buttermilk, you're going to have, and I leave for you 3½ cups of all-purpose flour. 3½ cups of all-purpose flour. Don't sift your flour for this bread recipe, family. You don't need to sift your flour. That's 2. Three and a half cups of all-purpose flour, unsift. 2 tablespoons of white granulated sugar. You also want to leave yourself a little extra flour, okay? One level teaspoon of salt. Make sure your measurements are accurate. No, that's what we have there. Like over here, our butter is, you see that? That's how you melt it. It still wants a little more time. So we are making our very own buttermilk. That's what we need. Butter is melted, so you want to have about 1 3/4 cup of whole milk. And it's warm right there because we're going to be using the yeast, and that's your buttermilk, homemade, right there. You want to mix it around, and it's warm. Remember, we're using yeast. I hope I'm not going too fast for you. So you just want to have it stay there until you get it to your baby bottle. You're making a baby bottle, you know the temperature of your baby bottle, you know. So we want to stay there and make sure our milk, our melted butter and our milk is thoroughly combined, and we're going to let it stay until it's at the temperature that we want. Not too hot for the yeast, nor too cold, okay? So over here we had our 3½ cups of all-purpose flour. Remember I told you don't sift. 1 tablespoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of salt. I'll put for you the ingredients and the measurements, and 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. What you want to do, you want to mix thoroughly right now, because we need to add our yeast in this, and at this point you don't want to get your yeast directly on your salt. So what you want to right here now, you know, and when we use yeast, patronites, we can mix our one recipe for a bread. You can do it in different ways. You can dissolve the yeast in the warm water and add it there. I'm using instant. You know, you have the other one that you have to proof. I always use instant, and I always go for this brand here. Not doing any ads here, but you don't know it, but I always go for this brand, the Saf Instant. That's good. It works good for me. So I'm dissolving my salt. That it's not definitely. I'm gonna put right in there now. 1 tablespoon and a little. That would equal to 1 packet of instant yeast. And I'll catch you in the next clip. So we are mixing in our yeast right now. Thoroughly. What you can do now, you can taste right here before you add your wet mixture for the amount of sugar and the amount of salt is what you are supposed to have. I think I have it because we're going to be adding, I don't want to put too much sugar from now because we're going to be adding a cinnamon sugar mix to the thing. So now you're gonna get your mixer, close it, and you're gonna get it on the lowest speed right there. Give it a little extra mix, and then stop it a little. You see our buttermilk, you see how rich it is. Yeah, homemade buttermilk, yeah. So let's pour in, and then we're gonna pour in about a half, and I'm gonna start it on the lowest speed. So I'm gonna throw the other half. What I did, I stopped to scrape down what was at the side right here. So I put in the other half, and I'm gonna stop now, and I'm gonna get everything done on the low still, and I'm gonna leave it to come together. So you see, it's on the low and it's been there for about a minute or two. So you're gonna carry it up now to medium and mix it for about 8 minutes. Stopping at the 4-minute interval, and then you come back to give it maybe 7 to 8 minutes. So you want to mix it at that. We want to get all the gluten out. That was just a little thing dropping off right there. So you see it? It's coming right there. When you increase the speed, you see it starts getting more and more. So you want to mix it and mix it. It's forming a dough ball. But even though it's forming a dough ball, cleaning the sides of it, the gluten is still not released. Because you know what, use your hand in this one. If you want to use your hand, you can stop right here and start slapping around with your hand. But if you don't want to use your hand, you can just continue with your mixer. Why should you not use your mixer when you have it? Okay, so we're gonna let it go for about 7 minutes, stopping at the halfway interval. I'll come back and show you. The gluten should start be releasing at that point. So this is my dough, my finished mixed dough, but let me show you. You see how clean the sides are? But you'd have to use your hand to do it until it comes like that. And I told you it would be about 11 to 15 minutes. So we're gonna stop it. And you will see that it's not sticking to your hand, and that is pretty good. You want to, I did not plug this out. Make sure your appliance is unplugged, you see, family, before you start using your naked hands on this. Okay? Right out. And you're gonna make sure that you got a little extra flour here to put on your surface, your dried surface. Lightly flour. You don't want to add the more dry flour in it now to make it come tough. You want to take it and clean out everything out there. Stainless steel, you know, so it always stick. So this is it, soft. So you don't need a lot of kneading. You don't want to put too much kneading on it right now. You just want to get it into a ball. It should be warm. And if you, at this point, wherever and whenever you watch this video, and I know the time is pretty cold now, most places. So you will have to, you might not get too much of, or you might not get the best of bread because the time is hot, but you've got to adjust or to know where you want to leave your dough to rise. You know, you might not get it as nice. Yeah, so this is where it's at. So you just got, you know, give it a few little, you know, move it around Move it around. You can put it in any container you want, plastic or whatever. You don't necessarily have to put it in a glass. Lots of people do these videos and they put it in glass. They want you to see what is happening. But look here, it doesn't matter where you want to put it in, because I have this pot here. It's just in my reach. It's this is aluminum with what do you call this thing now? Ceramic, not ceramic. What's that thing there now? Non-stick coating. So you could have easily well not coat it, because it has this sort of non-stick coating. Can wipe off my hand on my dough ball. Still warm. You want to make sure that while working with this yeast, it is still warm. We're gonna leave it. You know it's an hour and about 1 hour, because the time is hot. But if where you are, you could leave it for about an hour and 10 or an hour and 15 minutes. I'm gonna cover it with just a little kitchen cloth. My daughter Cole, she loves to cover it with plastic wrap, but I'll just cover it, or maybe I'll cover it, but I like to leave it under my range hood. Or if you are too cold, what you could do is turn your oven on, set it to no temperature, no desired temperature, and then you leave it in there very well covered, because the moisture will be dried out from the dough. After 1 hour, I'll catch you back. So we are at least 10 minutes away from the first proofing of our bread. Remember, I did introduce to you all our ingredients. So we have cranberry, cinnamon, and brown sugar leaf. So what we're gonna do now, ahead of time, we're gonna be putting like about, some people would use more. I'm gonna put about, I think about ½ cup of brown sugar. You're gonna honestly need a brown sugar for this. Gonna give it, I am not measuring by cup, but I think this is about ½ cup of brown sugar. Also, I'm gonna be putting about ¼ cup of cinnamon powder, and I'm gonna mix it together to give it, I want it to get a little time for the sugar to start moistening. And so about ¼ cup or a little less, I'll put it for you, of brown sugar and cinnamon powder. So I'll put a little more cinnamon. I want this brown sugar to start softening up and to let it and the cinnamon be properly absorbed. And it looks like this is what I have. This is a perfect color. So I think it's about, I put the measurement for you. So I'm gonna leave that and let it come together. You've got to do it probably about at least 5 minutes ahead of time. So you want to have it that the cinnamon takes over the brown sugar, giving you this rich sort of light chocolate look. There's no such word as chocolately. Next clip. So our dough has been proofed, and this is what it's soft and all of that, nice and like that. Still warm, very important. It must be still warm. So don't mind my dogs there. You wanna just lightly flour once more. So we're gonna be rolling our dough out. At this point, we're gonna be rolling it into a rectangular shape. So you want to move it around a little, move it around, move it around, move it around. Okay, and you get that flat right there. You want to flat it out. So we're going to be rolling it into a rectangular shape to about 1/4 inch thick. And most importantly, we want the short part to be the very measurement of your pan right here. So rectangular we are going to be doing. Rectangular, and about the short side, see there, about the measurement of this pan. Now our next step is to have some more melted butter. This is really warm, so I'm gonna try to get a little. I've just done it, but you can do yours at a time. You're gonna be brushing it with this melted butter really generously, because we're gonna use our cinnamon sugar to stick to this melted butter. We are gonna be sprinkling our dough, so you want to get your melted butter on generously. Yeah. So this melted butter now will help the cinnamon sugar to stick to the dough. Huh? Beautiful. Generously done. You're going to be sprinkling your cinnamon sugar also generously, taking care not to go to the direct edge of the dough. So this melted butter will hold the cinnamon sugar. Generously we are putting it on. We will not use all of this dough, but you want, as it bakes, the sugar melts and the cinnamon and everything will be nice. That should be good. Now at this point we're going to be putting on some of our cranberries. I'll show you. You don't want to put on your cranberries at this point too heavily. You just want to put them on very sparingly, because if you put them on too heavily, it will give you a problem to roll, because we are going to be rolling this dough up. So you want to put on them sparingly. Put on a few cranberries quite sparingly, and this is good. If they're too together, that's what you want to put them on sparingly. Now that you have got to put them on sparingly, you're going to start rolling the dough. If it is that your bread pan is taller, you roll from the taller side. But I'm using this one that is shorter, so I'll be rolling from the shortest side. Quite firm, don't be in any hurry, and you're going to roll this dough up really nice. You see, you don't have a problem rolling because you never put the cranberries them too, and you don't put to the end, so you don't have it coming out. So you want to take your time, roll up, make sure it's tight and tucked in as you go along. Remember, take your time in doing this. Fold as you see that fold, you see that right there, and you tuck as you go along, making it just nice to how you want it, keeping it intact. Right there, intact. Pinch to seal, intact. Pinch this part here to seal it. Seal, pinch, keep intact to the other side. Keep intact, pinch to seal. Roll over, keep intact, pinch, nice. Do your thing. It's a dough. You can get it where you want it. It's not hard. Now you are going to use a very sharp knife, preferably a pastry knife, and a pastry knife is a very sharp knife. This is definitely not one, but I think this is really sharp. We're going to eyeball the dough, and we're going to cut it right down the middle into 2 equal parts. Take your time, eyeball it right down the middle, right there. 2 equal parts, equal and separate. Pastry knife, your knife must be sharp, even sharper than this, because a pastry knife is a really sharp knife. Don't mind what is happening right there. You just fold it back a little. You're gonna get it right down into 2 equal parts. Don't mind that, because we are gonna be overlapping it again. 2 equal parts. So if it's even falling apart, you just get it back together, because what we're going to be doing right here, we're going to be twisting it. So you're going to put it right there at an angle, seal it. You're going to lift this part and put it over. You don't mind if it's falling apart, and then you carry this part over, and then you have it all sealed. You don't mind it because we're going to do other stuff to it. Get your pan, yeah, gently lift it, fit it down in your pan. You don't mind what is happening right there, and these parts must be opened up. Right. You're gonna come back right here, and you're gonna be very gentle this time, more gentle than the first time. You're gonna brush very gentle with some more melted butter. Very generous too, but more gentle. So you don't mind if it's opening, because as you put it, you see it. Now, you got to sprinkle a little more of your cinnamon sugar. Not too much at this time. Look at what I'm doing. You want to have the top with that pretty cinnamony brown sugar finish. That's what you want to have. You see that nice look? Make sure it's evenly coated. Yeah. You're gonna come now, single out your cranberries. You're gonna stick a few in your dough. I know you have gotten the picture. Put them there, let them go down, because it's a dough and it's soft. We're gonna leave it to proof for a second time, and when we're through, we are gonna come back to show you. Loosely covering. 30 to 45 minutes time, 380 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes, and we'll catch you when this is finished. Oven has just been preheated. You want to gently now, remember I told you, not too tight, loosely. So you gently lift it off. You see that? This is what we're working with. So in the middle of your oven at 380 for about 25 to 30 minutes. Know your oven type. Every oven type is different. That's what we got. Patronites, this is our finished cranberry and cinnamon bread. Cranberry cinnamon swell bread. You want to put some melted butter on it right now, just to let it keep moist and soft a few minutes in the pan on the wire rack. And after that, we will take it and put it directly onto the wire rack, and then we'll cut and show you what it looks like. That's so pretty. There you have it. This is our finished cranberry cinnamon swirl, or whatever you want to call it. There you have it. It is too hot for us to cut in it right now, patronites. I hope you will enjoy, and I'll see you with another video. Thanks for watching. So patronites, this thing was so good. We had most of the one part of it. So this is what it looks like when you cut it. Yes, it's so good. You want to try it. Welcome once more, my patronites, to another video. So on today's video, we're going to be making just a primary cheesecake, a regular cheesecake. You know, and there are thousands of, not really thousands, but there are so many ways of making a cheesecake. So I'm going to be using the water bath method today. So as with every cheesecake, you need a crust at the bottom. So all cheesecakes that I know of from ever since coming up from primitive time, they call for a graham cracker crust. I think you can find it in some supermarkets in Jamaica, but I think they are pricey, all made already. So I'm going to be using our regular digestive biscuit. Yeah, so I have 10 packs, and I'm going to be crunching them. You could, if you don't have I'm using my food processor. If you don't have a food processor, you could use, if you have a high-tech, you know, them powerful blender, you could. So use it to crumb it up. Or if not, you just put it in a Ziploc and just use your rolling pin or simply a bottle, and then just roll it out and beat it out until it's fine. You know, so what I'm going to be using, I'm going to be using 8.5 or probably 8-inch springform pan. So I have 10 packs, but I don't think I need a 10 packs. So I might use about 6 packs. And I'm going to crumble this, and I'm going to show you how you want it looking. The puree method to just crush these. So you want to either puree or pulse it out until you get something like this, okay? So all pureed out. So you want to use about 5 tablespoons. This is not a tablespoon, so I use about 6 of this of melted butter, and I'll put for you that is about 3, 4, 5. Let's use 5, and we're going to use it to bring the graham cracker crumb together. And if you know a thing or two about cheesecake, you know that we're going to use it. So we are going to need some more. You have to make the butter cool too. After you melt it, you give it some time to cool, and you're going to use the melted butter to mix it, bring it together. This is not a tablespoon, you see, so that's where I'm using more. But you'll need about, this is like about 2 cups of the graham cracker crumb. And you can go, so I guess we needed all of this. So this is about 5 tablespoons. But I put for you the measurements, you know that. So you want to put melted butter until it's like, you see that? You see that? You can press it. Oh, so let's mix it up some more and come back. So you want to mix it thoroughly until it combines properly. Now you're gonna add and spread it out into the bottom of your spring form. This is a spring form pan. We call this a spring form with the thing there at the back. So you want to scatter it out, and you could do more if you want to carry it around up to the edges. You can do more, but I don't want to bring it around to the edges. And you want to use something to level it off. You want to compact it. You want to get it in a compact way. So you're going to use something heavy, a teacup, a glass, something that is heavy, and you're going to press it right down, right there. Let it be even. So you want to use this coming down there from the edge, you know, so that when you take your cheesecake off, it has that even look. So I'm doing this right now. Did I say you should start by preheating your oven to 350? Mine is properly preheated. You're going to blind bake this for about 8 to 10 minutes the most. Make sure you don't let it over bake or have it all burnt, okay? So okay, now patronites, your crust is baked and set, and you can see around the edges there how it is all set. So you're going to leave this to cool down for about 10 to 15 minutes until it is leave it on a wire rack so the heat can go underneath it. You want it to cool down to room temperature. Whilst that is happening, you want to increase. I hope you're on this. You want to remember we blind bake for a 350. And don't mind this, it's a cup that I use, the bottom of the cup that has that pattern there. So what if you use something plain, it wouldn't leave any pattern. So you're gonna increase now from 350 to 450. That's what we're gonna bake the cheesecake at at the start. Now you want to have 2 pounds of cream cheese, and this is like 4 blocks. Each block is half a pound, and it must be at room temperature. You don't want it to be cold, so when you're mixing, you know, so you want to put it in there in pieces. Don't put it in chunks. You want to cut it up like as you're doing your butter. Just treat it as you're doing butter. 4 cups, 4 half pound, what I'm saying, or 4 blocks. Each block of this, if you buy these, if you use this type, each block represents half a pound. So I'm using 4 because it calls for 2 pounds of cream cheese. So I'm gonna get it out in here. You want to break it up in pieces whilst getting it out, and you can see it definitely is at room temperature. So you want to get it all in small pieces in there. Okay, so all in. This is what it looks like. You're gonna add a pretty good 1.5. If you want to lower the sugar by using a 1.25 cups, you can. But remember, cream cheese has a little tardy taste, so you might want to go in with 1.5 cups of refined white granulated sugar. And if you have ever worked with cream cheese before, then you know it's sort of a little on the messy side, but it always turns out to be a beautiful cake. Use your paddle attachment, and we're gonna beat this on high speed for about 8 minutes. a certain interval, not fully, so you can see it's still not fluffy. You want to beat it until it's fluffy, nice and soft and smooth. But remember that you have to stop along the way and to scrape to the bottom, because most of these mixers they don't go right down with these bowl. And might I add, you're supposed to be boiling some water at this point. I said we were going to be using the hot water bath for it method, because they have other ways of doing it, like leaving it into the oven after time and popping the oven door open. But we're not going to do that one. That is like the older version. So what you want to do at this point, you want to have some water boiling. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm going to continue mixing, but you have to stop about 2 times and come and scrape around the bowl as if you're just creaming butter and sugar together to make your cake. So you got to come and try not to waste your mixture. Just try to exercise a little patience. Have a good spatula and scrape around. Do it the best way you can, that you don't lose any, because cream cheese is very expensive. I don't know where you are, but in Jamaica it's really pricey. So I'm going to be beating some more. You want to scrape around the sides of your bowl. And this is just the cream cheese and the sugar. So you see that nice smooth look? So that's what we want. Okay. Scrape around the sides of your bowl. At this point, I want, lest I forget to add, half of a teaspoon of salt. Half of a teaspoon of salt. Lest we forget, but I leave for you everything that you're going to need. Now, you're going to be putting in your eggs. You're going to need 4 large eggs, but mine are very small. I am using 5. Take a note that you want to use fresh eggs. You want to be using fresh eggs right here. So you want to get your mixer on, and you're going to beat at medium to high speed, adding the egg one at a time. You see, they must be fresh. Add your eggs one at a time. This takes a little time, family, and you want each as one at a time, and you mix for about half a minute to a minute. So each time you mix, each time you had one and mix, you want to come scrape around your bowl and make sure everything is uniform. We're going to add 1 more, okay? But if 2 should get away in there, no problem. Just use your discretion and know, so you're going to have to mix a little more. So we continue to mix in at high speed, medium to high speed, and I'm going to be doing all the eggs one at a time, scraping around after each addition, and come back. So you see how light and fluffy this is. Look at it. You want it to become like this. You see that? This is how you want it. Now I'm going to be adding half a cup of room temperature sour cream. Now I'm going to mix it in on the lowest speed that we have. It's like you're going to be just, you know, whipping it in. So I'm putting in half of a cup of sour cream, and it should be also at room temperature. Low speed. Low speed. 4 teaspoons of sifted cake flour alternately. So wait until each one is properly mixed in before you put the other. We're putting in 4 teaspoons or 2 tablespoons of cake flour, and it must be sifted at room temperature. So you add 1 just like the eggs. You have 3 in there already, and we're going to be adding the last one. So 2 tablespoons or 4 teaspoons of cake flour, and you mix it in. You can stop your mixer right here to see what we got, and this is what we got. You want to scrape around, and this is the smoothness of what we have. So let's give it another, just we saw what we have. So what you want to do, you want to come and scrape from the bottom if there is any lump like left from the flour, which I did find one. I'm gonna give it the last little mix on the lowest speed. 1 teaspoon of white vanilla. You could use a black one, but I have this and I just prefer to use this one. So the last mix, I didn't remember that. Low. So okay, pay attention now. So our crust is cooled down. Make it cool down to room temperature. You want to use a double layer of like heavy, not the little thin foil, and you're gonna wrap your cake. You're gonna get it around your pan like this. You're securing the pan, so you're gonna just wrap it. This is the hot water bath cheesecake. You have some way you not have to use it, but these ones tend to come out more on the smoother side, so thus I like. At some other point I will show you how to make the ones that you don't do with the hot water. So but it's basically the same way too. So you want to have the foil paper, don't get it come to the edge that any water spring up. Don't let it overflow to the edge. It must be under the edge of the spring form pan, because if any water and the cake should come up, remember we don't put baking powder in this, you see, and do not use self-rising flour, okay? So you're gonna need a pan to put your cake in. You're gonna need a sheet pan, not a sheet pan. You're gonna need a deep pan, okay, to put your cake tin into, okay? And you're now going to be pouring your cream cheese mixture right in there. You want to secure it with the foil paper. So you're gonna be just holding up, and let me hold it up and pour. This is how it should look. And you just want to just do it, family, just do it with just some farmer. You don't have to just, you know, you know, I always said to you, make your thing be just, look at that. And you're gonna come right up, so you're gonna have a decent slice of cream of cheesecake, okay? So this is how it should look. Now I did tell you, you are to, and see the bottom of your pan, your bowl, right? So you see how smooth it is. Now hot water. This here is 4 inches deep, so I'm going to take the water up about 2 inches in the pan. This here is definitely 4 inches, so this is 2 inches from here. So I'm going to get my water up to about here. You're going to be gently pouring your water, hot water that is. This is the hot water bath method. You're gonna pour. You don't want to pour it in and then have the heat coming up on your hand whilst you're pouring the cheesecake mixer, the cheese mix or whatever the mixture. So make sure you make enough. I have this and another set of hot water. So we haven't reached 2 inches yet. You want to carry it right up to about 2 inches on the pan, that it goes right around to secure the sides. Gently do this. $450 you should be at this minute. 450 degrees Fahrenheit right now you should be at. You want to be very accurate with this water thing, eh? So this is where we're at. Now is the time. You got to be careful when putting it into the oven. Be careful. If your pan is hot, use your mittens. Be careful right there. Putting it in way in. Way in. That's what it should look like. And we're gonna gently close our oven, and we're gonna set it for 15 minutes for the next 400 at 15 minutes. It's at 450. Don't mind my pots, patronites. We are at 450 now. So we are going to set it for 15 minutes. For 450 at 450. After the next 15 minutes, you're going to come back. I hope you're listening to this. I know it's a bit complicated. 450 now for 15 minutes. So we're going to set it for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, you're going to come back to half the temperature to 225 and set it for 1 hour and 10 minutes. At that point, I'll come back. So here we go, patronites. And you see my cheesecake is, as I shaked it in the water, is a little jiggly. So my oven has just signaled me. I let it stay in for an hour and 10 minutes. I did go the hour. Remember I said an hour or hour and 10. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to prop my oven. So I'll show you how it's supposed to look after the hour and 10 minutes set, but yet soft. When you shake it a bit, you see that little jiggly. I'm going to let it stay in there for another hour whilst I prop. Well, this, I've never propped this door open. Oh, this oven door doesn't prop open. Propping means it should be like about here. So I'm gonna get something to prop mine, to prop this one, because I have. So this oven is different. It cannot prop. You see, that's the easiest way. This is too wide. So what I'm gonna do, if your oven can prop, propping is like that. The inches is supposed to have it like that, but this one doesn't do that. Solution, I'm gonna use the oven is off, you know, so just the heat is in there. I'm gonna put it right here to right there. This is propping. This is what we call prop. So you prop the oven door open for another hour whilst it is in there, and it will stay. So I just leave the oven light on for you to see. Now I'm gonna turn my oven light off, and it is gonna stay in there in the water bath for another 45 minutes to about an hour. Maybe I would say 45 to 50 minutes. Then I'll come remove. I'm gonna let it cool down in there, and then I'm gonna come and remove the pan from the oven with the cheesecake. This cheesecake is more like a custard. Cheesecake to me is like a custard in a crust, in a pie crust or something. Therefore, slow baking, slow setting is the way to go. You notice I haven't got any cracks there so far. So we're going to continue on this slow path. Slow baking, slow cooling, slow setting. So I'll catch you. So we have removed it from the oven, and we are removing it from the hot water bath. Warm water bath it is. It's just jiggly to the middle. It's setting. It is just slightly jiggly. Round the edges are set and everything. The water is just like you set water for your baby. So, and it's best if you have a stainless steel. If you got stainless steel, it's better. The aluminum would have that turbo mark in there. You see that? You can just rinse it out. The aluminum would mark, and you'd have to go scour it out. So, but if you don't have the stainless steel, use what you have. Now we're gonna leave it. We want to try to remove this from around the pan very gently and leave it to cool down properly. Let it come right down cool. Then we're gonna wrap it with plastic wrap. Leave it overnight, preferably in our refrigerator. So when you see me next, it will be the next day. I'll have on a different outfit, and we will have our cake all ready to cut. Gonna let it cool down, remove the plastic there, the foil, let it cool down properly, and then cover it with plastic wrap in the refrigerator for overnight. Catch you. But you want to have it with this smooth taste, no smooth look, no cracking so far. Okay, now patronite, it is the next day, and I will be removing my plastic. It was left, as I said to you in the prior clip, overnight in the refrigerator. And as I always tell you, this is just a little tip. I don't know how we got that little tip of water on the top. They always say that the proof of the pudding or pie is in the eating. So now we are gonna try to unmold, but we have here something. This is coming from the fridge. You know, cheesecake is very delicate, so I want to run something around the edge. So we are warming up our knife. So I'm gonna put the knife. This is non-stick. So if you don't use a non-stick, I'm not seeing where all my edges are like pulling away from the pan. So I'm trying to see if I can run a warm knife around it. Wow. Yeah, so my knife is warm. So I'll gently, cheesecake is a very gentle cake, you see? So you all know that if you're a cheesecake lover. So I just want to run it around there because I'm not seeing, but I think I should not be stuck. So let us try to fly the spring form. And spring form fly. So you be careful now. You want to just gently lift off. This is what we have. Cheesecake. Yep. Okay, our knife is relatively warm. Let us see all that we worked hard on. So let us start right here. We worked really hard. So when you go down to the base, you want to push your knife down and you bring it through. You see that? So you want to clean it again. Let's wet it again. So we're going to take another slice, another cut. Go right down because you know we have that thing, and it is very, very delicate right here. So we want to try our best to see how nice we can get out a slice, patronites. Whoa, it's coming up off the whole thing. But we want a slice. So you see how we did well because it's coming up off the base actually. Here we go. Had a little bit of a challenge. Yeah, but nevertheless, this is our cheesecake. Yeah. We're going to put something on it for you. Okay, now patronites, this is our finished look. We did not have any cherries. You know, most time they put it with cherries. I wanted to put some iti apple preserves, but actually I did not get to do that. All really Jamaican, local Jamaican apple. So this is it. And let me tell you, I just want to use a little fork to show you. I hope you did enjoy this and you want to try it for yourself. So I want to show you the delicacy of it. It's not sweet. Wow, it is just so good. It's not tangy. Oh, we added everything. Let me tell you. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you again with another video. I hope you will watch, go over all the methods that we made. Remember, we made the base, the crust base there. I showed you everything. I'll put the necessary measurements for you. Hope you did like it. I'll catch you again with another video. Welcome once more, my patronites, to another video. In fact, happy new year. So this will be our very first video for the new year, and let me welcome all my new patrons, and to those who have been here forever, I just want to welcome you back. Now on today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you, you know, it's after the holidays, time is cold, and we want to go low, we want to do quick. So I'll be sharing with you today a cream of red peas soup. This doesn't require a lot of ingredients, as red peas is a very flavorful peas. Some people say red beans, but we in Jamaica we say red peas. So you want to have yourself, this is about 4 cups of pre-cooked red peas or red beans. They are cooked soft. You see, they are very soft, and I left them in my refrigerator. In fact, I left them in my freezer, so they did build a little liquid with the ice in there after thawing. Okay, remember to cook them soft with a little salt to taste, not a lot. So at the end, if you require a little more salt, you can. For flavoring, I'll be adding 1 tablespoon of finely chopped red onions. You could use your regular onions, yellow or white. I have here about a half a cup of freshly chopped scallions and celery. 1 small head of roasted garlic. These are for flavoring. Ginger in the liquid form, or if you can get strong ginger in the powdered form, you do that. You don't want to grate your ginger because you will end up with some strings. We want to have it all smooth. Cream of red pea soup, freshly squeezed. Coconut milk, if you can get your coconut cream, do that. So right on over here, I got me a pot that has some thickness to the bottom. Yeah, and my pot is reasonably hot, so at this time I'm gonna add my celery and my scallions. Gonna saute them off. This is the flavoring of it. It's the base. Let me get my flame down. I don't want them burning right in with my onions, and I'm gonna be sauteing them off until they are like reasonably soft, you know. Whoops. So you see, you don't want a lot of oil, so you saute them off. It's a soup pot. It's soup. You could do it in a deep skillet. You don't have to do what I do. And this is the flavors that are coming out: celery and green scallions. You might want to use other herbs, but remember, it's a cream of thing soup, so you don't want to go too extra. So I have my flame down here, so I'm gonna vamp it up a little. I use olive oil. You don't want to use too much oil, because you don't want the oil that's, you know, settling on top of your soup. So we're gonna be sauteing it off right at this point. Once it's there sauteing, we want to come now to get our roasted garlic out. And if you're new here, we have a video here that shows you how I roast my garlic. But you can do how you roast it. If you're not a person that likes a lot of garlic, you can omit it or use the amount that you want. Okay, so this is my roasted garlic. It's softened. Yep. So I like lots and lots of garlic. So you see, it's just easy to remove when you roast it. So I'm using here really 1 head, and this is fine because you see how I put them. We could do a little softer, but this is fine. So I'll catch you in the next clip. So now I've transferred my soft beans, or I am transferring my fully cooked red beans, you know, and let them be properly cooled. I'm also adding my 1 peg of roasted garlic. Try to let yours be a little softer. Okay, I am going to be putting in there my ginger, but I'll be adding my ginger in the liquid form. So I would like to put about 1, 2, 3. This is about a tablespoon and a quarter. I don't even know what size this spoon is, but we will leave it in the interim if we need some more. Also at this point, I'm going to be adding some freshly squeezed coconut milk. And now, so my seasonings are sauteed, they're soft. I'm going to turn my flame off, give them a little time to cool down, and I'm going to add them to my blender. I'm just going to be now pureeing this. So this is my puree. You see, it looks like peanut porridge. This is my pureed mixture. So with your heat on low, make sure all residues are removed from your pot, and in this very same pot with your heat on the low, you want to start pouring in your liquid. Now, as this, we are going to cook it for about 8 to 10 minutes on the low. But as this liquid cooks, it's going to thicken with all those red beans. So you want to make sure you have some water at the same temperature. So we're going to get some hot water going. We're going to let it cook. Right now, what you want to do, you want to taste to see if you have your salt perfection. Wow. We will need a little salt, as I did expect, because I did not cook with a lot of salt, but you to cook with a little salt to let it have flavor. Let the beans get flavored with the salt. Also, I find that I can take some more ginger juice. For the ginger is to aid with for people that don't digest the beans and also the coconut milk. So I'm gonna cook it for 8 to 10 minutes, and that's it. Make sure you stir around. That 8 to 10 minutes will properly cook the coconut milk and with that ginger. And if you need a little extra salt, you can do that. You don't want it to be too thin, neither do you want it to be too runny. On the lowest heat that you can find on your stove, you cook it right there. I'll catch you in the next clip. So you see, our soup is cooking and it is thickened. It has thickened a little more, but you don't want it too thick. Remember, I told you, not too thick like a porridge and not too watery like juice. So you see the consistency? Yeah. So we are gonna turn it now, turn our flame off now and leave it to cool down a little. You don't want to go, if you want to put a little extra, like a little, I don't know, Maggi or what you use, you can. But I don't, I don't do those. But at this point, you don't want to get it too flavorful. You want to remain with that cream taste from the coconut milk. So we're going to leave it to cool down a bit, and then I'll dish some up for you. So I'm about to dish you up some now. So this is how it looks. You see that? That's the consistency you want to have. You can have this with crackers for dinner. Come home from work, the time is cold. You can have this for dinner with some crackers. You can have it with some fried plantain. You can have it with some fried breadfruit and a little saltfish. Have it with whatever you want. There you have it, patronites. Thanks for watching.